Hello Kabius, welcome back to Moto channel. In the part 6 of our programming tutorial, we have already integrated the token-based authentication API. And then in this part 7, we are going to integrate the fetching of data, search, and pagination. So what are you waiting for? Let's get into it. Now, what we are gonna do next is we're going to create our users API. We're going to fetch the data from our users table database. Now, first thing we do is we are going to create the routes of our users API. So let's go to config and then routes, and then we're going to add another routes here, $ routes. Then the method is actually method, and then the first argument is the name of our API users, and then the second argument is our users controller. So let's say user, then double colon, then the function is index, and then semicolon. Now that we have already created our users API route, we're going to create our user controller. So let's go to controller, and then type in our terminal php spark 8 colon controller, and then the name of the controller user, file created. And then as you can see here in our controller, we have the controller user controller. Now we are going to import or use the user model that we have created here, this one. So use up backslash models backslash users, and then we're going to use the response rate as well. So use code igniter backslash api backslash response rate. Now that we have our response rate, we have to call it here as well. Use response response rate. This response rate is for our response function to be able to return the response into our front end side. So we are going to create a constructor here to initialize the variables that we have. So public function double underscore construct. And then inside of this function, we're going to declare our users model. So $sign these users is equal to new users. And then after this constructor, we are going to catch the payload that came from our front end uh, API request. So let's make a variable here. Post is equal to this request, and then get var. Make as well a search parameter variable so that will pass as an argument in our model, user model. So search params is equal to array, and then inside array we're going to make a key value pair, say lower, and then last name, and then the value is post search. Obvious, I put lower here so that the value of this post search will be converted into a lowercase. And then the next key will be lower, and then first name. The value is post search. Next one is lower, and then email. The value is search, post search. And then after these search params, we are going to create our query in the user's model. So we're going to fetch our user's data. And now we are going to make a data variable for our data. So dollar sign data is equal to these users. And then break the line. The first function that we're going to call is the or like. Then we're going to pass the search params as an argument here in or like function. So search params, and then the second function that we're going to call is the select. Obvious, I will give you some tips. If you're fetching data in your database, just select only what you get so that the performance will be more efficient than selecting all fields. So let's say users that ID and comma users that first name comma and then users that middle name comma users that last name and then comma then I will just going to break the line so that it will be readable users that email and then our rules table. So we're going to get our users rule. So rules that ID as role ID, and then rules that. So as you can see, I join a table. We are going to join a table here so that when we get the users data, the users rule will be included in our query. And the next function here is the table. And then the table name is users. The next one is we're going to join the users and rules table. So join, and then the first argument is the rules table, and then the second argument is the foreign key from the users table, which is the role ID, users role ID, and then equal to roles that ID. And then the third parameter will be left because we are going to get the data using left join. So the next one is paginate. Where the first argument will be the limit of our data that we're going to fetch, post limit, and then the uh, second argument is users, and then the third argument is the offset or the page. Let's say post page, and then semicolon. After this query, we are going to count the users that we are going to fetch. So let's type or let's create a variable data count equal to this user, then another line here. The first function that we're going to call here in this users model will be or like, and then the argument will be the search params that we have here. So let's put here search params, and then the second function will be um, count all results, and then semicolon. And then the next line, we are going to return the data from base query. So let's type return base respond, and then the argument will be key value pair. The first key is data, and then the value is data. And then second key will be pagination, and then the value will be empty array, and then inside array we're going to put key value pair again, and then the first key will be page, and then the value will be post page, and then the second key will be limit, and then the value will be post limit, and then the third key will be page count, and then um, we're going to create a function for our counting of total page. So set total page, and then the first argument will be data count, and then the second argument is the limit. So we are going to make some calculation for this function. So the final or the last key will be data count, data count, and then data count. So we have already set up our response data in our front end side. So let's remove this semicolon and put it here in the end of the function, and then save. So what we are going to do next is we are going to create a helper. So create a helper file, common helpers .php. So we have our common helpers, and then here we are going to create a tag, php tag, and then end tag. We're going to create the function that we have created here, set total page. So function set total page, and then the first argument, let's say count, data count, and then the second argument is the limit. So we have the data count in the limit parameter. So let's create a new variable here, quotient equal to global, then let's say this data count will be total. Let's change it into total. So total divided by double limit, and then the next variable that we're going to do is init quotient is equal to int um, quotient. This one is quotient, yeah. And then the next variable will be init page count. Init page count equal to double init quotient. And then we're going to make a condition here if quotient is greater than init quotient. We're going to return the init quotient. Init page count. Yeah, init page count plus 1. And then we're not going to make an else, because if this condition is true, um, it will not read this line of codes. It will just break it. So um, let's return int. I mean int, and then init page count. Yeah, we have our set total page function. So this set total page function, to be able to call this common helpers, and then we're going to put the function here, helper, and then the argument will be common. We're not going to include the helpers, underscore helpers. we're just going to get the first um, word of our common helpers. So save it, then let's check the codes. So let's try if this API will work. So let's go to our standard client and then make a new request. And then this previous request, we're just going to copy it and then paste it here and then change it into users. Let's check our route first. Users, yeah, account/users, and then the method will be post, and then we're going to put a um, payload here. The payload will be page is equal to 1, and then the limit will be say 10, and then the last one will be search parameter or search key value pair, I mean, and then the value will be just leave it empty string, and then let's try it. So we have an error. Let me double check the codes. Let's go back into users controller, and then we'll check it one by one. Yeah, this should be response rate. We don't have S here. And then response rate, constructor, common users, request, users, function. Yeah, this one should be users, not user. So I think we have already set up. So I hope there's no error. Let's save it again, then check it again. Boom. As you can see, we have data in our users table. And then we have our pagination data. So we have one data and then one page, and then the limit is 10, and then the page count will be 1, and then the data count is 1. And now we are going to seed more data or insert more data in our users table so that we can test the page, limit, and then the search. So to be able to do that, we are going to modify our seeder in users. So let's go to our database folder and then the seeds folder and then click the users. Now we're going to insert batch for this function so that multiple data will be inserted in our users table. So this one, let's put another array here and then break the line, and then another array, and then semicolon, and then break the line, and then comma, and then let's copy this one and then paste it here and change the email. Let's change it into, let's say, Lebron, and then the first name is Lebron, and then the middle name, the last name is James, and then let's say Lebron as well. I mean, let's say Smith, so that they are not the same with um, first data that we have. And then copy it again, and then paste it here. Let's say Derek, and then here, Derek, and then the last name is Rose. And the middle name, let's say Jordan. And paste it again here. Let's put here Gordon. And then the first name is Gordon. And the last name is Hayward. And the middle name, let's say um, Gore. And then paste it again. And then another name here, email, I mean, let's say um, William. And then Zion. Then last name is William. In here, in the middle name, let's say um, Zin. And then another one, let's say um, Kobe. And then the name is Kobe as well. And then the last name is Brian. and then the middle name, let's say um, Bobby, and then paste another one. This will be the last one. Let's say Jordan, and here Jordan, and then Clarkson. Yeah, Clarkson. Let's save it, and then let's change this insert batch into insert batch camel case. Yeah, and then save it. Let's check it if there's some error or typographical error. Okay, budgeters email programs. Yeah, I think there's no error, typographical error. So this one, insert batch. Yeah, save, and then let's run the PHP Spark migration refresh. I mean migrate. As you can see, are you sure you want to refresh? Yes. Now let's check if we have data here. So as you can see, we don't have users data in our users table, and then the page count is 0 and the data count is 0. Now let's seed that users table. So um, PHP Spark DB seed then users. Yeah, seeded. Let's check if the data that we have set here in our users seeder is actually inserted in our users table. So send it again. As you can see, we have the data that we have set here in our seeder. But the problem is the rule in the name is null. The rule in the name are null. So let's seed also the rules, because when we hit the um, refresh, the rules data has been removed as well. So let's seed the rules again. Let's type here PHP Spark db seed rules. So as you can see, we have already seeded the rules table. Now let's send it again, and then boom, we have the rule ID and then the name, and then we have seven datas in our users. So let's check if if our page count is 1, and then the data count is 7 as well. So if I'm going to search, like for example, Jordan, and then send. As you can see, I have searched Jordan, and then change it into like Clarkson, and then send. The result is the same, because in our users controller, um, we are searching for last name, first name, and then the email. And then let's try to search the email. Let's say the email is jordan@gmail.com, and then send. Yeah, it's the same result. Now let's remove this search value, and then change it into second page, and change this limit into 5, and then send it again. As you can see, we are in the second page, 6 and 7, because we only have 7 data in our users table. The first page is 1 to 5, and then the second page is the 6 and 7. And then in our pagination, we have page 2 limit 5, and then the page count is 2, and then the data count is 7. Let's go to our page 1. And then as you can see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, because the limit is 5, and then the page is 1. As you can see, we have uh, page count 2, and then data count 7.
Let's try to search for another name. Let's say Derek. Yeah, Derek. So now, as you can see in our testing, that the data fetching, search, and pagination are now working. So the part 7 of our programming tutorial is now finished. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the part 8 of our programming tutorial. Don't forget to like and subscribe our channel so that you will be notified for the next videos that we're going to upload.